This is Mrs. Zappia with Lesson 17, Module 1, the unit rate as the scale factor. Student outcomes for this lesson. Students recognize that the enlarged or reduced distances in a scale drawing are proportional to the corresponding distances in the original picture. Students recognize the scale factor to be the constant of proportionality. Given a picture or description of geometric figures, students make a scale drawing with the given scale factor. Our essential question: how do you calculate the scale factor and what does it correspond to? Example 1, Jake's icon. Jake created a simple game on his computer and shared it with his friends to play. They were instantly hooked, and the popularity of his game spread so quickly that Jake wanted to create a distinctive icon so the players could easily identify the game. He drew a simple sketch. From the sketch, he created stickers to promote his game, but Jake wasn't quite sure if the stickers were proportional to his original sketch. The original sketch is on the left, and the sticker is on the right. What type of scale drawing is the sticker? Is it an enlargement, or is it a reduction? Since it is bigger, it is an enlargement. What is the importance of proportionality for Jake? If the image is not proportional, it looks less professional. The image on the sticker will be distorted if it is not proportional. How could we check the proportionality for the two images? You measure the corresponding lengths and check to see if they all have the same constant of proportionality. We'll complete the table and find out, is the sticker proportional to the original and how do you know? And what is this called? So what we want to do to complete the table is to put the measurements from the original drawing, the original sketch, into the table. So we'll have the 1 inch from the original, and that corresponds to the 2 inches on the sticker. So we'll fill that in. The original is 1 inch, and the sticker is 2 inches in length. And we'll do that for each side of the stickers. Then we have the 1 inch going across here, and that corresponds to the 2 inches going across here. So we have 1 inch and 2 inches. And then we have the 0.75 inches, which corresponds to the 1.5 inches. And we're going to convert those to fractions. The 0.75 is 3/4 of an inch, and that's 1.5 inches. And then we have the 7/8 inch, and that corresponds to the 1 3/4 inch. 7/8 of an inch, and the corresponding side is the 1 3/4. And remember that when we say corresponding sides, we mean that they're in the same position on the cubes. So the 7/8 is on the left and the 1 3/4 is on the left, so they are corresponding sides. So we want to know, is the sticker proportional to the original, and how do you know? So remember, to check proportionality, it is y divided by x. And so we have the original as our x value and our sticker as our y value. So 2 divided by 1, 2 divided by 1, 1.5 divided by 3/4, and 1 3/4 divided by 7/8. So we'll calculate those values to see what the constant is. So the unit rate is 2, 2, 2, and 2. Is the sticker proportional to the original, and how do you know? It is proportional because the unit rate is 2. What is this called? It is called the constant of proportionality. So remember that the unit rate is also called the constant of proportionality. What are the steps to check for proportionality for a scale drawing? First, measure the lengths of the scale drawing and record the data on the table. Measure the corresponding lengths on the actual object or picture. Record the data on the table. Check for the constant of proportionality. Y divided by x. If the constant of proportionality is the same for all ratios, then the figures are proportionate. What is the scale factor? The scale factor is a ratio of any length in the scale drawing to its corresponding length in the actual picture. The scale factor corresponds to the unit rate and the constant of proportionality. The scale factor is a ratio comparing the length in the scale drawing to the length in the original picture. We're going to go down to example 2, and it says use a scale factor of 3 to create a scale drawing of the picture below. And the picture is the flag of Colombia. So we want a scale factor of 3. And what that means is that the scale drawing will be 3 times larger than the original. So in our steps, we need to follow these. If the measurements are not given, you will need to use a ruler to measure the sections. So we have sectioned this flag into section A, section B, C, and D, and then use a ruler to measure those. So I've already measured them, and the length of A is 1.5 inches wide, B is 1/2 inch, C is 1/4 inch, and D is 1/4 inch. So go ahead and draw that table and fill in those measurements. We have created a table, and now we're going to calculate the new dimensions. To calculate the new dimensions, you multiply the original measurement by the scale factor. So remember that this was your x column. Let's change that. This is your x column, and this is your y column, or your y value. And when you're going from x to y, you're multiplying by the unit rate. And our unit rate, or scale factor, in this case is 3. So 1.5 times 3 gives us our length of 4.5 inches for our scale drawing. 1/2 times 3 equals 1.5 inches for the scale drawing. And 1/4 times 3 equals 3/4 inch. And 1/4 times 3 equals 3/4 of an inch. So these are going to be the dimensions of the new scale drawing of the flag. So then you'll take your ruler and you'll actually draw each segment. So we're going to start by drawing this segment for the yellow right over here, and that's going to be 4.5 inches long. So we'll take our ruler, and we may need to do this on a separate piece of paper. It looks like it will barely fit right here. So I'm going to take my line, and I need this to be 4.5 inches. And then I am measuring the section for B, and that's 1.5 inches. So that is going to go down here to 1.5 inches. And then it's going to need to be 1.5 inches on the other side as well. So I'll take that and measure the same length for the other side. Then I need to measure down 3/4 inches down. So I'm measuring the section right here for part C, and that is going to be 3/4 of an inch down. So I'm going to take my ruler and measure the 3/4 of an inch, and that is going to go from here. That's a 1/2 inch. That is 3/4 of an inch. And I'm going to pull the ruler out of the way here. And then this segment will be the same length there. And that concludes the blue section. And then the red section is the same also. So that's going to be another 3/4 of an inch here, 3/4 of an inch here, and then the bottom going across. So then we can fill in our sections. So I finished coloring that in, and you will also want to draw the corresponding segments using a ruler, which is what we've just done, and label the sections on the scale drawings. So we'll take a pen and label those. So going across, this was 4.5 for A. It was 1.5 going down, 3/4 going down, and 3/4 going down. And these are all in inches. We'll skip exercise 2 for now, and we'll go down to example 3. Your family recently had a portrait taken. Your aunt asks you to take a picture of the portrait using your phone and send it to her. If the original portrait is 3 feet by 3 feet, and the scale factor is 1/18th, draw the scale drawing that would be the size of your portrait on your phone. So what is the shape of the portrait? The shape of the portrait is a square 3 feet by 3 feet. Is it a reduction or an enlargement? Since the scale factor is less than 1, this will be a reduction. If the scale factor is more than 1, it will be an enlargement. How do we determine the new dimensions? Well, we went through the steps on the previous page, and we'll repeat that process. So our original dimension is 3 feet, and our scale drawing we multiply by the scale factor of 1/18th to get our scale drawing length, and that gives us 1/6 of a foot. One-sixth of a foot is an unusual measurement, so let's convert that to inches to make it user-friendly. 1/6 of a foot, so that's 1/6 of 12 inches, and 1/6 times 12 equals 2 inches. So this scale drawing is going to be 2 inches. Now it is a square, so the length and the width will both be 2 inches. So what will the drawing look like? It will be a square, and it will be 2 inches by 2 inches. So I've put a ruler here. Let's go ahead and make our drawing. It's going to be 2 inches, and then we're going to rotate the ruler, and we need 2 inches going down. And then I can just duplicate those segments so that they are the same length. And label your new dimensions, 2 inches by 2 inches. In this lesson, you have learned: how is the constant of proportionality represented in scale drawings? It is the scale factor. Explain how to calculate the scale factor. Measure the actual picture length and the scale drawing lengths. Write the values as a ratio of the length of the scale drawing length to the length of the actual picture. What operation is or are used to create scale drawings? After the lengths of the actual picture are measured and recorded, you multiply each length by the scale factor to find the corresponding scale drawing lengths. You measure and you draw.